All right. Here we go, guys and gals. And boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, drivers.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, back together in person, that is. At least Ethan and you are still listening from a place far, far away. Who knows, maybe another galaxy far, far away.
I doubt that very much.
But, Ethan Ignatowski over there, as always, I'm Andrew Hazlett. Lucio Podcast episode 333, according to our itinerary. It's 33.
One day, 333, but this is
33 of season 2, but if we're going by episodes versus 43, because we had 10 in the first season. But
yeah. We are in person once again, for the first time
since the episode that didn't happen.
Yeah, but that episode didn't happen, so for the first time since like May, might not have even been May, might have been
late April.
Yeah, probably was late April. So
I think it was May.
Okay, yeah. One of those two. But we are back in person, back at school. Andrew has moved into his new apartment. I am almost moved into my new apartment, in the process of doing it. So, yeah, we're just, we're back, and we're locked in.
Okay. We're going to get into the reviews.
And now for last week's race reviews.
A Michigan NASCAR Cup Series. I will briefly mention Justin Allgaier won the Xfinity race, which was under weird circumstances because it rained. And NASCAR's like, oh, we can drive the track. And they actually did drive the track. This is like with one overtime left. And Allgaier was leading at the time he ended up winning, so yeah. Anyway, Cup Series. Let's get into it. Stage 1, 45 laps. Immediately, Larson gets the lead from Hamlin. Lap 35, Bubba Wallace. He passes Hamlin and Larson for the lead. Then lap 38, Hamlin spins from second. Mixed strategy. Your top 5 that pitted were Bubba, Reddick, Larson, and Chastain. Your 6 guys that stayed out were Blaney, Byron, Buescher, Suarez, Keselowski, and Ty Gibbs. Lap 43 restart, Blaney holds the lead. Your stage 1 results were Blaney, Elliott, Byron, Bubba Wallace, who's a playoff bubble guy, Buescher, another playoff bubble guy, the 8 car of Busch, Keselowski, Truex, Bowman, Chastain. Stage 2 takes us to lap 110. You had your top 5 guys that were left that didn't pit were Elliott, Bubba, Busch, Truex, and Bowman. Then the rain came. NASCAR said, okay, we're going to do this tomorrow. This is how things work. So, yeah. On lap 58, to start stage 2, Elliott holds the lead.
To start Monday.
Yeah, to start Monday. Elliott holds the lead. Lap 58, Kyle Busch to the lead. Lap 67, Truex to the lead. Green flag pit stops. Top 5 were Larson, Truex, Wallace, Elliott, and Chastain. Caution came out for simultaneously. Logano and Gilliland had a right rears go down, and Allmendinger had a left rear go down. So, interesting there. So, mixed strategy. You had guys on 2 tires, which were Byron, Truex, Blaney, and Jones were your top 4, and I think the only 4 that were on 2. That is on 4 tires. You had Larson, Elliott, Bubba, Bell, Buescher. Staying out, you had Chastain, Busch, Gibbs, Keselowski, Austin Dillon, and Cody Ware. On the restart, big crash. The 5 got loose, and involved were himself, Buescher, Bell, Gilliland, Bubba, Briscoe, and I have Bubba again. I don't know why. I think Logano was in it. That's why I put numbers in here. Anyway, that took us to the end of the stage, I believe. So your guys that were getting points were Busch. You had Chastain and Gibbs, which were 2 bubble guys getting points, followed by Byron, Austin Dillon, Keselowski, Truex, Jones, Ware, and Blaney. Stage 3 takes us down to race lap 200. So your Chastain and Ware pitted along with people in the back. Byron gets lead and restart. Lap 135, Corey LaJoie spins and flips. Some cars pit again, including Chastain. And he was the main one. Lap 142, Elliott to the lead on that restart. Cars pit. And then lap 162, Reddick to the lead. He passed someone. And then your top 5 were Reddick, Byron, Gibbs, Busch, and Truex. Truex hits the wall, causing caution going into overtime. A few cars pit. Chastain spins, getting a caution. Byron was ahead of Reddick at the time of caution. Reddick to the lead. Reddick wins on that restart. So yeah, it was a solid race. 7 out of 10. Had good racing throughout. So yeah, nothing too special.
Slightly above average.
Yeah. Gateway, that's 260 laps.
Yeah.
Scott McLaughlin, he was on pole. And I will say, the 5 guys I told you all to watch out for were McLaughlin, Newgarden, Power, Malukas, and Dixon. Excluding Scott Dixon, I don't have the data to look it up, but I think those guys had the best average running position all day, and if they weren't, they I think were the 4 best cars. So maybe I know what I'm talking about. Just saying.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
But the finish wise, they did not finish 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's how racing is. Not the fastest cars always win or do well. McLaughlin leads from pole. Ed Carpenter, he just turns left into Catherine Legg and crashed lap 8.
Yeah, we were talking about
Ed Carpenter is... I miss prime Everett Ed Carpenter. I miss that. He is not that anymore. He should just be an Indy 500 driver.
Yeah.
He has been in crashes every oval race this year. I think that's including the 500. I don't know. He might not have crashed out in that one. But all the ones that he's taking the seat from Christian Rasmussen, he has crashed out of, or at least been in a crash. So
yeah,
I like the guy. I wish he was good. He's not good.
It's over though. Just put the fries in the bag.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but anyway. Lap 15 to restart, McLaughlin holds the lead, but the next lap, David Malukas, he went to the lead. And then lap 17, Daly spins Marcus Armstrong. Daly spins on his own. Well, not on his own, but because Marcus Armstrong passed VK, who got loose and checks up into Daly, who hits VK and hits Kirkwood into Daly.
You got all that?
And Roman Grosjean also was involved. I forgot how. I think he might have hit Kirkwood. I don't know. Yeah. The Kuhn Coast cars did qualify well. And then on the lap 27 restart, Power passes Malukas. Pato Award had an engine retirement.
My pick to win.
Cars pit. You're on the green flag lap, which are... And there's kind of a strategy divulge. The long stoppers were trying to save fuel, and then cars just trying to not save fuel. But Power, Malukas, McLaughlin, Newgarden, and Ericsson were your top 5 that pitted. Your long stoppers were Rossi, Dixon, Siegel, Simpson, and Linus Lundqvist. Ericsson, lap 86, Simpson, he spun to the wall. Lap 97, restart, Power leads. Cars pit again onto green. Order's still similar. Power, McLaughlin, Malukas, Newgarden, Rossi. Ericsson doesn't change rear tires on a pit stop. because he had an engine issue.
Yeah, and that was really unfortunate, not only for him but for the team. He was the best of those cars, and he had a decent shot at winning before that engine issue, and it's been a while since he got a win now. So unlucky for him.
Yeah, and I think he might be starting to regret leaving Ganassi for Andretti.
Yeah, maybe.
Because as much as some people may not want to talk about it, but Andretti is Ferrari in IndyCar. Colton Herta is Charles Leclerc. Same thing.
Yeah, basically.
If people out there may not realize it, that's what it is. Just the amount of screw-ups that they all have. It's eerily similar.
Yeah.
But anyway, on the pit stop, you had Siegel and Santino Ferrucci speeding, which led to a drive-through penalty.
Also, really unfortunate for Siegel because he was on for maybe a top 3 or something. He was also running really, really well.
I don't think he had. Well, the way the race ended, he would have had top. He could have got that last spot on the podium, but pace-wise, he was probably top 10 at best. But there was a lot of chaos.
Yeah, but he was on for a good result before that speeding penalty.
Yeah, and he was on the bad strategy too, so I don't know where that would have shuffled him.
Yeah, it still ended up being his best result so far.
Yeah, but yeah. And where am I? Lundqvist and Dixon, they were trying to cut a stop. They were the two that had a chance at doing it. Cars pit, power down to third on pit stops, and Newgarden and McLaughlin up to 1 and 2. Cars pit again, lap 196. Newgarden spins while lapping cars on the high line, but only lost 2 positions because the top 8 were not lapped at that point. So there was the 6 lead lap cars at this point. There's a divergent point. Power and Rosenqvist, they stayed out. McLaughlin, Newgarden, Malukas, and Rossi, they came in and pitted. Cars on the were back on the lead lap and pitted 4 laps later, because they could, were Herta and Palou. So that's 8 cars on the lead lap. Lap 207, Power keeps the lead. And I write now field race because different strategies here. Because this I thought this might get interesting.
Yeah.
Power and Malukas pit, and they fell a lap down at this point. Lap 228, Rossi pits. Interesting. Power and Malukas pass Palou. McLaughlin laps Herta. Rosenqvist pits. And then while racing under Power, battling for P5th, Malukas crashed. Which was unfortunate because Malukas is my new favorite driver. I really like the kid. And this is his best racetrack, and I thought he might have had a chance to win.
Yeah.
And really, he couldn't have done anything different. It was just tight racing. That's what happens.
Well, it wasn't really his fault that he crashed.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault that it crashed. It was just tight racing. That's what happened.
There was no room. I mean, tight racing, sure, but I wouldn't even consider it tight racing. More, dirty might be too hard of a word, but he was being pushed off track. He had nowhere to go. He was being pushed down off the circuit. He had nowhere to go. It was willpower, right?
Yeah.
Power. That's just like he got mad at Malukas for that, among other things, but you can't push a driver off the track. How are you going to be mad at the guy you pushed off track? That doesn't make sense.
Well, race control thought it was a racing incident at the end of the day, which I would agree with them. But it is borderline. Under this yellow,
I'm on the other side of that border personally.
Under this yellow, McLaughlin and Newgarden pit, 2 at a shorter stop. Cars back on the lead lap. Herta, Power, Rossi, Lundqvist, and Palou. Lap 251 restart. Slow restart. Big accordion crash. Newgarden, there's a restart box that you can restart in. Newgarden, he was smooth on the throttle. Waited for the end of it. And said, boom. He might have waited too late, but regardless, if he waits too late, you can pull out and pass him. That's the rule.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody did because they didn't need to. Except for, I think it was Pelot that did it. I'm going to talk about this later.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. But meanwhile in the back, there was cars on the throttle and off. So I don't know what caused that, because if I'm going at my pace, you should be going at my pace if you're walking right behind me.
Right.
Not be going a couple feet back and then right on me.
No.
Like, you walk at the same rate.
You can't.
If you're
yeah.
walking in a line.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at here. Is that like someone screwed up. So yeah. Anyway, moving further on. What happened? Power. He got hit by Rossi, and then Grosjean kind of got collected, and in the back, Siegel and Harvey spun together, and then the 7 just launched off the 12. So yeah, Pelot, what he did is he went inside of all that to avoid the crash. If he stayed in his lane, he would have got caught up. Which this move is a possible championship-winning move. If Pelot doesn't do that, he falls down to. I'm gonna look here. Actually, you have the Ethan has the results pulled up. I saw that out of the corner of my eye. Pelot finished 4th.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do that move, gets collected, he's finishing like 18th, 19th. That's a loss of about 30 points, maybe not 30 points. That's too many. 20-something points or another.
Yeah, it was a big move to avoid a worst case scenario. Still wasn't the best result possible for Pelot, of course. There was a short window of time, I would say, where it looked like Pelot could have maybe got his first win on an oval.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
But of course, didn't end up happening. As we said, he finished 4th. Still a good result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but regardless of the fact, that's about 24 points, give or take, depending on what position. So that 24 points could be huge in these final few races.
Yeah, because
when you're watching the race, note that number 24. If Pelot wins by less than 24, I'm gonna go back to this moment right here and say that's what won him the championship.
It's a very underrated moment in the championship because people aren't going to look at what happened on lap 240 whatever of Gateway as the championship decider, but it in a way could be.
Yeah. Moving further down the line, red flag, and IndyCar did what is the worst named rule in sports, possibly the abandonment of procedures rule, which should be simply called quick yellow rule, where they put lap cars to the back of the field, put all the lead lap cars up, said no one can pit. So yeah, that's what that rule is. Funsies. Lap 254 restart. Your top 5 cars on the lead lap were Newgarden, McLaughlin, Herta, Lundqvist, and Pelot. Meanwhile, the only pass that happened was Lundqvist passing Herta, which was a surprise because Herta's pretty good. Lundqvist is not a known quantity yet. So yeah, that's pretty good. And he got himself on the podium. Newgarden, McLaughlin, Lundqvist, 8 out of 10 race. Interesting storylines to go from there.
Yep.
But before we're done,
I enjoyed that race.
I have an award to give. Mr. Will Power, you are an idiot for
the Malukas incident. In my opinion.
I'm not even going to give... The reason why he did this is from when he got out of the car after his crash, he goes up, walks by his teammates, gives them the willpower, the single euro willpower, instead of the more common double willpower. If you search up willpower bird, you You can
The middle
no,
finger for
yeah.
all those that aren't aware.
He's a known middle finger giver.
Middle finger enthusiast,
Yeah,
some might say.
Yeah, that might be better. Better wording there. Just realizing here. Anyway, regardless, moving on. He does that, which like, bro, you're more the problem, because it wasn't him that wasn't the problem.
No.
Like, it wasn't Newgarden. It's someone else. And then he goes, walks. Dylan Welch goes up, asks for an interview. He says no, and then shortly after, he's like, oh, you're kind of important, basically, in his thoughts. And he gives an interview. Goes on where he's all mad and doesn't really care about anything. And then yells about Malukas, too. And then walks off further. He at some point yells at Malukas for nothing that Malukas could have done differently.
Yeah, seriously.
And then they interview Lil Dave, which is the nickname for him, Dave Malukas, the young boy from Illinois. And he knows how much that race meant to him, because that was his chance to maybe go out and steal one, because he had the car too, and he knew it, and he's beat up about it. And then having a guy yell at you for something that you couldn't have done he was just on the edge. He was close to bawling his eyes out in that interview. So, Mr. Willpower, you get the chicken award, and you can actually hear it this time.
Yeah,
because we aren't recording on Zoom and Google Meets, which those two devices get an honorary chicken award for not letting me squeak a chicken, thinking it's background noise.
Yeah, that's probably the first time y'all can hear the annoying chicken. R.I.P. to all headphone listeners, if there are any.
And people driving in a car.
Yeah. So, shout out to all of you. Feel free to put in the comments on YouTube, if you're listening on YouTube. Feel free to say Andrew Chicken Award.
Yeah. Anyway, 22 minutes in, might be a little longer, going into the news.
And now for the news.
Connor Daly at Juncos Hollinger Racing. We talked about it on the last episode, whether it would be, because this is likely going to happen.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be for the Ovals, and they're going to put him in for Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Daly, not the best road racer. We'll see how that goes. But I think he can. He showed why he's a good oval racer at Gateway, because he ran 12th in qualifying.
Yeah.
In a Juncos car. That's like putting a Stake F1 Team Kick Saubermobile in 2024 in the top 10 in Formula 1 qualifying, or at least the top 12. I don't think that's happened very often, if at all. So yeah, Connor Daly.
Don't think so. I know Joe has an 11th in the race, but I don't think they've ever qualified that high this year.
So that's what he did. Kind of comparison for you Formula 1 junkies out there. That's good. I think he got caught up in a crash that wasn't his own doing. Still managed to finish 13th, I saw. Thank you, Ethan, for having the results up. So yeah, I think that's a good guy to go around for now. Yeah. Good short-term replacement. Mm-hmm. Long-term, he's not the guy. I love Connor Daly, just not that guy.
They'll find someone for next year.
Yeah,
probably.
And this is of the 10.
What's Teo Porcher doing these days?
I don't know. And Ethan, that of the 10 IndyCar teams, this is the 8th Daly has driven for of the full-time ones. And then he's driven for other ones that aren't in the sport and are part-time, too.
Yeah,
but Daly,
out of the 10 current teams on the grid, he's driven for 8.
Yeah, of the full-time ones.
Wow.
Only needs Penske and Ganassi. Probably the two hardest to get.
Chip Ganassi, Roger Penske, you know what you have to do.
If you need a substitute driver on an oval, call up Connor Daly. Because there is no one else better. I'm serious. You can't get anyone else unless you're going from someone that's going to be on the grid next year.
Yeah.
Coughs Santino Ferrucci, as much as I don't want to talk about it, but that's what it is. Anyway, moving on to the next. Finally, Ethan, IndyCar teams evaluating the first formal charter document. A few weeks ago, I was trying to see, I wonder if they've done anything with the IndyCar charter. So I searched up and saw that the last piece of news was before the Indy 500 when they were saying, we're going to unveil it next week. Never did. We'll see if they can actually get this done.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's things that the teams don't like. I don't know. I don't want to see charters. What I want to see, Ethan, is for every race, 33 cars. No one's guaranteed. Up to 33 cars. No one's guaranteed.
So
yeah.
So 33 cars always.
If you can get to 33 cars, and they're not at 33 cars at every race, but if it gets to that point, I don't want to be, because what they're proposing is a 27 car cap, and with 25 charters and 2 unchartered wild card entries, which I don't want to cap the field at something that's not 33.
I
Should
agree
be
with
33
you.
for every race.
Because Indy is 33. Would they make an exception for Indy?
Nope. Well, Indy's always 33.
Yeah. So
with bumping.
Will they make?
Yeah, they would make an exception. Yeah.
Okay. Then okay. And you want it to be like you can fail to qualify if there's more. Okay. I mean, I don't think the teams would ever agree to that these days with it, with the teams having power to decide that. I don't think maybe the top teams, but even then, I think they wouldn't want a chance to fail at qualifying. It's just not good business for them. Yeah. So I don't think that will ever happen, unfortunately.
It would for my situation to work. I don't think they would get to 33 cars, because right now, if Ganassi were to, because the charter rule is saying, Ganassi has to lose 2 cars because they're a 5-car team, and have to cap it at 3. So with Prema joining, that would put us at 29 cars.
Right.
So that means there would have to be 4 cars to join, and I don't see anyone on the current grid expanding, except maybe Andretti, maybe McLaren. I don't know anyone else. I think everyone else is kind of set, and cars would have to join. Teams would have to join, and I don't know who would join. I've seen Pratt and Miller rumors. I've seen someone else that I forgot because they aren't that notable. I think it was another Formula 2 team. I don't remember, but regardless, they were very, very early stages, not where Pratt and Miller are now. But the point is that we should be saying 30, because I don't think we're getting to that 34 car number to bump someone.
Sure.
I would say let's have the grids get as big as possible, because we can do it. I don't know why we're limiting ourselves when we can be bigger.
Right.
Which something I don't get.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and we'll see. This kind of, because of the charters, Meyer Shank shifting their IndyCar lines from Andretti to Ganassi. Long rumored, that they're going to lose not SiriusXM, AutoNation. So I won't be seeing as many pink cars on the grid for the pink lovers out there.
Disappointing, but honestly.
They will still be keeping Mr. Felix Rosenquist in the 6660. Yep. Who knows? That sounds like from people that I trust on IndyCar Twitter, it sounds like it's going to be Alex Rossi with American Legion sponsorship. So at Ganassi, you're thinking, okay, who does this leave out? It's not going to be Scott Dixon or Alex Palou. Those 2 are locked. After that, you think American Legion sponsorship has been on primarily the 8-car of Linus Lindquist. Think he'd be out. But with 2 podiums this year, that's would be a hard cut to make. If you go with Marcus Armstrong, yeah, that would be a easier cut to make because he does bring money, but he hasn't brought as much results. He has had a podium this year, and you have Kiffin Simpson, who has a lot of money behind him, but not a lot of results.
Money.
So it's kind of an interesting balance of who's gonna go where with what.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And Andretti, with the loss of Shank, they're gonna hit pause on IndyCar technical partnerships. There's a rumor, which I don't think will happen. Another team would have to flip over to Honda for them to go to Chevy, because a lot of people are saying, oh, Andretti's going to go to Chevy. But I don't think they can. Chevy can afford Andretti because of the engine leases. They don't have enough engines. So someone would have to flip over to Honda. And and for them to go to Chevy. And I don't think it's going to be Ed Carpenter because he's been Chevy for his whole life. He's an American. I don't think that's going to happen. Penske's Penske. Juncos is a team that they're going to, rumored to be partner with, so I don't think they're going to be leaving. Prema is new. They aren't going. I don't think they'd flip right away. They could, but I don't think they would. That leaves two teams. I'm trying to think of one because I know what the other one is, and I think that's the team I'm going to mention. And I can't think of the other one because AJ Foyt. They aren't going to go anywhere. That's for sure. So what does that leave? That leaves Air McLaren. They've been Honda in the past. They flipped to Chevy. They might not like the possibility of being too much of a B team behind Penske.
Yeah.
Think all our chances if we flip to Honda and Andretti flips to Chevy, they might feel that they have a better shot at being the top dog with
that engine supply.
Honda.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there were times where Andretti was the top dog with Honda, or was when Ganassi was with Honda, when there were many thousand engine flips.
The guys over at McLaren, not only have they shown a willingness to flip around with certain things, granted, I'm referring to drivers.
Yeah.
But, that Zach Brown, he's a businessman. If he thinks that Honda can give him a better chance, he's not gonna sit around and wait. He's gonna make that switch.
Yeah, I'd give for the road courses. I think the Honda's better, and the ovals. I think the Chevy's better right now. So it's an interesting balance of where they're at right now. Final thing for IndyCar, this is kind of a NASCAR one. NBC Sports making an IndyCar NASCAR commentary reshuffle. Kevin Lee will now be who you've heard for the last few races on IndyCar. He's now the IndyCar guy full time for the rest of the year until they lose their contract. Where will Kevin Lee go next year? Will he stay at NBC, go to IMSA? Will he be with NASCAR? Will he stay in IndyCar? I don't know. But yeah, he's going to be the lead play-by-play guy there. Going over to NASCAR is Lee Diffie, replacing Rick Allen as the lead play-by-play guy at NASCAR for now and the long term. Rick Allen, he's going to be the Xfinity full-time play-by-play guy for the NBC for the rest of the year. And where will he go next year? Possibly the CW, do a Xfinity full-time next year. May go to Prime and Turner. We'll see. It's kind of an interesting thing where he might go. I always liked Rick Allen. He isn't perfect. He does have his fair share of screw-ups, but he is still very good. I'd put him in the A tier of broadcasters, along with Mike Joy. Mike Joy was once S tier, but he's not there anymore. And I would put Lee Diffie in the S tier. Kevin Lee, B tier. And then the other guy that's done racing in America, Alexander. I'm forgetting a couple people. Adam Alexander, he's B tier as well. And then there's two other people. Jamie Little, I'd put her in D tier along with Dave Burns, who's done racing from time to time. So that's kind of tier list of broadcasters right now.
Yeah.
That's how I'd kind of like to see where the broadcasting goes. Is the top guys get the best roles, and those medium guys get the medium roles, and those lower guys don't go anywhere. Stick to stick to pit road because that's where you're better. Going through to NASCAR now. Bowman Gray Stadium set to host the 2025 edition of the Clash. Moving from the LA Coliseum,
yeah.
which I think was long reported that there wasn't going to be a renewal. And Bowman Gray Stadium, they call it the Madhouse for a reason. If you've seen a short track oval, kind of has like a stadium feel, and drivers getting mad at each other, yes, that's probably Bowman Gray. And I like the Madhouse. I feel like tempers are going to be burnt. They aren't going to flare. They're going to burn at the Madhouse. They also play football, high school football there. So that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Austin Dillon, he's stripped of playoff eligibility following his win. Joey Logano fined post-Richmond.
Yeah. Of course, this was announced like 2 hours after we finished recording.
I was actually announced the next day. So
Was it?
Yeah. They had to delay it to Wednesdays, though, which is...
It always seems like stuff gets announced right after
it's either Tuesday or the next day. So yeah.
2 hours after we put it out, I meant to say.
Yeah, so fun. That shakes up the playoffs again.
I want to say.
It's now the Bubba, Buescher, Gibbs, and Chastain going for 3 spots with Martin Truex Jr. relatively safe.
Yeah, and if Dylan wants to get into those playoffs, he's going to need a win.
He's going to need a win again because he's back to 30th place in points. You go. Enjoy that. RCR planning to appeal. We'll see how that goes. We'll have an announcement, or at least the start of the appeal process tomorrow. I don't know if they'll finish it tomorrow. We'll see.
This is essentially the punishment that we wanted, though.
Yeah.
We said our full thoughts last week, so we're not going to rehash it. Go listen to that episode if you want to hear.
Yeah. AJ Allmendinger heading back to the Cup Series Kaulig Racing in 2025.
Yep. Welcome back.
This is Allmendinger with Kaulig. This has been a weird thing. He was part-time in Xfinity. Kaulig's, and then he wanted to go full-time in Xfinity with a little bit of Cup. And he goes full-time in Cup. You'd figure he'd stay full-time in Cup. But no, he goes back down to full-time Xfinity, part-time Cup for a year. And he goes back to Cup full-time. This is like so random. Kaulig Racing, what are we doing here? I just don't get it. It's very confusing. This is something I don't understand. Like, maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's sound. I'm gonna speculate here. They might be shutting down their Xfinity team because SVG, he's leaving. They just lost one of their crew chiefs. Allmendinger's leaving. Are you really gonna build a team around Josh Williams? I don't think so. There's been rumors that Chandler Smith's gonna go there. Possibly. That would be weird because he went from Kaulig to Gibbs and then back to Kaulig in a year. Again, strange. I don't know anything anymore. Just confusing. Like, I don't know. Just Kaulig Racing, they're just random. They don't seem to have a clear direction of where they want their race team to be. But that's what it tells me. Yep. Ethan, want to talk about Mr. Sergio?
Lone piece of like hard F1 news we have right now. There's, of course, rumors flying around who's gonna, be that second driver at Audi, who's gonna replace Sergio Perez if he needs to be replaced in the second half. Rumors about why Sergio Perez was kept for the second half. This, that. A lot of things about Sergio Perez. But we do have one piece of genuine hard news about Sergio Perez. He's getting a new race engineer for a few races. That's not because they want to necessarily make that switch. It's just that his current race engineer, Hugh Bird, is going on paternity leave. So his performance engineer, Richard Wood, he is up in the meantime, getting the call up. So what does that mean for Sergio? He's just going to have a different guy in his ear this weekend and maybe for a couple more races. I think that this might be able to help Sergio. It might seem like not a big change, but, and I'm not saying Hubert was necessarily bad for him, but just having a new voice in his ear could cause something to change. We see drivers change their race engineer and it affects them. So maybe it affects him positively here. Maybe he was just too comfortable. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know, but news, if Sergio Perez performs a lot better than usual, maybe that's the reason. Probably not, but maybe. And now for next week's race previews. I want to start off the previews real quick. I'm going to go...
Please do.
Yeah. Zandvoort, the Netherlands, Max Verstappen's home race. It is going to be crazy in terms of the fans. Orange everywhere. Orange smoke bombs everywhere. Everything is going to be dyed orange. And who's gonna be good there? Well, Max is pretty good there as well. In general, I should say. His home track, I don't know if the fans make him even better, but he likes it there. Look for him to win. It's a very unique track, the most unique track in Formula One. It has banking on an F1 track. We don't see that. It's not a NASCAR type thing, but it does have banked corners. It's just a very, very interesting track. So if you've never seen action at Zandvoort, look forward to that. Robert Schwartzman, he's going to be taking over Valtteri Bottas's seat in FP1. Does that mean anything? I don't know, but you can speculate about it. But yeah, first race of the second half for F1. Real quick, Andrew, any predictions for the second half of the Formula One season just off the dome?
No, nothing ridiculous. You aren't going to see anyone outside the Power 4 constructors win. You'll probably see a rotation of those four winning podiums. I don't think here's my I don't know if this is a bold prediction, but no one outside the Power 4 will podium.
Yeah. This isn't necessarily a bold prediction. I think most people are leaning this way, but I don't think Red Bull ends the season in first place of the Constructors' Championship. I think it's either going to be Ferrari or McLaren. Sergio Perez has not been able to show up, and McLaren and Ferrari both have two extremely competent drivers. Again, that's not really a bold prediction, but that is a prediction I have for the second half of the season. And that's that.
Yeah. All right. We are going to go into sport car land here.
Really quickly, because we're not going to be, me and Andrew talked about this, we're kind of going to be waning off of talking about sports cars. So, we'll talk about the big races. We'll finish talking about the races that are going to be in this season, but we're not really going to spend much time going over previews, reviews, or sports car news.
Yeah, we're going to go over everything quickly because we are going to talk about it because we don't want to leave you on a cliffhanger for sports cars, but your defending winners in GTD Pro are 3 Corvette Racing Team with Antonio Garcia, and Jordan Taylor was in that car last year. He's not in that racing this year because he's in a different class. In GTD, regular GTD, Paul Miller Racing, one of Brian Sellers, Madison Snow, that duo now in GTD Pro. As we've mentioned often, going quickly through the drivers' changes, I don't think there aren't any in GTD Pro, so that's nice. Actually, is one, 77 AO Racing. I believe they're still the points leaders.
They are.
Lauren Heinrich this year, he's got a new driver. Klaus Backler is now going to be driving this race. Solid driver, always has been. So that's a good pairing, I think. In GTD regular, I don't know why I called it regular, but I did. I don't see. We do have we don't have a change there. So we are. I'm scrolling through. Oh yeah, we do have a change. Kyle Marcelli back with the Wayne Taylor Racing with Andretti 45 Lamborghini, pairing with Danny Formal there. So that's. I don't know why he was out the last race, but he's back in this race. So yay. But yeah, that's not many changes for Virginia. So yeah, that's nice. Moving over to IndyCar. Indy next. We're going to start with Indy next, I think. You do have a few one-off drivers in this race. I do believe. Actually, we are race 12. So yeah, Able Motorsports going to be doing 2 cars instead of 4. Last race with the regular drivers. And yeah, that's the only change there, is that they are not going to be having 4. Now they're down to 2.
Yep.
But they're normal 2. So yeah, in Portland, that's where our friends in IndyCar land are going to go.
Big boy IndyCar.
Yep, along with Indy next. But yeah, in the first change is the Dale Coyne team still rocking with Jack Harvey for the rest of the season. In the 1851 will be Toby Sowery. That will be his last confirmed race in the 51. I do believe will be Catherine Legg for the rest of the oval races for the rest of the year. That's been long rumored. So yeah, Christian Rasmussen, this will be his last race of the year in the number 20 Ed Carpenter car. So Ed Carpenter will get the final road courses. Connor Daly, as we mentioned, in the 78. And in the 75 Rahal Letterman Lanigan car, the 4th car, you have Yuri Vips making an appearance. So yeah, your 5 drivers to watch are you have 3 race winners returning in the field. Alex Palou won twice, Will Power, and Scott McLaughlin. That's your 3 race winners returning. I will say, who has always been good there, it seems like Scott Dixon. He's our 4th one. And I'm going with a guy who has won 2 races there in what is now Indy Next. He had all the other feeder series never went to Portland, but this guy is a Pato Award. He won both the 2 races. He went 2 for 2 in his 2 races that he competed there, but do believe. So yeah, that's another guy to watch out for. We'll see how he does.
NASCAR.
Yep, NASCAR. Trucks are in Milwaukee this week, while the rest of the series are in Daytona.
Milwaukee Mile.
A Milwaukee Mile in the 5th Tricon truck, number 1, William Sawalch. The Young's first primary truck, they have a driver change. Mr. Bean will be driving. That is Dexter Bean. Marco Andretti will be making an appearance the 04 Roper truck with Bruce Cook. Norm Benning, Storm and Norm, he's attempting his first race of the year. Everyone in the world wants to see more Norm Benning racing. In the 7 this week, Sammy Smith, who will be down Daytona for the Xfinity race. So that will be interesting how he juggles that. The second Riom Brothers truck, the 22, will be Mason Maggio. And the
Maggio.
It's pronounced Maggio.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was just you butchering an Italian name again.
No. Because I do believe he pronounces it Maggio. In the 4th Nice truck, Matthew Gold will be driving, who is the son of the crew chief of one of the other Nice trucks, Phil Gold. So that'll be interesting. 66 5th Thor Sport, Connor Jones. Just Carroll shows up with the Carroll Motorsports team. Jack Wood in the 4th.
Always nice when you can, family team.
Jack Wood in the 4th McAnally Hilgeman team. Blake Lothian in the Floridian Motorsports team to wrap it up there. Moving over to Xfinity, you have, scrolling through the list here, in the 15 this week is Gus Dean for AM Racing. The 2 Joe Gibbs All-Star cars, you have Ryan Truex and noted DNQ Joe Graff Jr. Read Wikipedia if you want to know what I mean. In the 26, you have Jeffrey Earnhardt. That's the Sam Hunt entry. Jordan Anderson is bringing a 3rd car this week for Jordan Anderson. In the Joey Gase Motorsports cars, you have Akinori Okada in the 35 and Joey Gase in the 53. 74 Mike Harmon entry is understood to be Tim Viennes. In the 2nd DGM car, you have Josh Bilicki. In the SS Greenlight cars, you have Patrick Emmerling and CJ McLaughlin. And Cesar Baccarella will be in the Alpha Prime 45. In the Coke 0400 Daytona, we have 4 open cars showing up, so making a full field. Yay!
Shout out.
15 Cody Ware, 16 Shane Van Gisbergen, the chartered entries.
I love Shane Van Gisbergen.
In the 4 open entries, Austin Hill, 33 for Childress, 44 of NY Racing be Joey Gase, 62 will be Parker Redshaw for Beard Motorsports, and 78 BJ McLeod for Live Fast Motorsports. And I want to shout out Ty Gibbs' sponsor, Ronald Reagan. And also Beefaroo for Justin Haley. Ultimate duo on the entry list, back-to-back sponsors. Beefaroo and Ronald Reagan. Just awesome. Anyway, going into the 5 guys to watch out for. I'm scrolling. Who do I want you to watch out for? I am going to say William Byron because he just won the Daytona 500.
Makes sense.
First of all, and he's won there twice. Denny Hamlin, he's been a winner twice. Austin Dillon, he's been a winner twice. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he's been a winner twice. We got, who else am I going to throw in here? Trying to see if there's another one. Ethan pointing to the driver he picked. I know he's not going to be it. So,
man.
I'm going to go with, who am I going to go with? Let's go with a guy who has won fairly recently in Daytona, defending winner of this race. I knew he was going to get one of these super speedways sooner or later. Chris Buescher.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, into the pick points.
And now for next week's race picks.
Yeah, let's do it. So last week we had IndyCar at Gateway, Xfinity Series, and Cup Series at Michigan. Everyone picked Louis Foster to win the NXT race, or next race at Gateway. 5 points to all of us. And that's the first time that the guests have scored since
A while.
the weekend of Hungary, IndyCar Toronto, and the Indianapolis. So, congrats to the guests.
Finally doing something.
Finally doing something. You got a point for Scott McLaughlin finishing ahead of Alex Blow and Pato O'Ward in the main race at Gateway. I got 5 points as Justin Allgaier won the Xfinity race. And then I got a point for Denny Hamlin at Michigan. He finished ahead of Larson and Ryan Blaney. So this weekend, all of us, again, picking Louis Foster to win the Indy Next race at Portland. You are picking, Andrew, Mr. Alex Palou for the main race at Portland. I'm picking Scott Dixon because he's solid there, hasn't won, but he's got a third place a few years in a row now. Guest is picking Pato O'Ward. Why are you picking Alex Palou?
Two-time winner there.
Two-time winner there.
Guest this week is Zach. Shout out Zach.
Zach, I do not know you. I wish you luck. You are picking the number 3 Corvette for GTD Pro. I am picking the 77 AO racing car. Zach is picking the 14 Vassar Sullivan. For GTD regular, as you called it, you're picking the 96 Turner. I'm picking the 57 Windward, and it's the 55 Proton for Zach. All of us are taking the obvious pick, but maybe shouldn't be the obvious pick as he hasn't actually won that many races recently, Mr. Max Verstappen. He's going to win at Zandvoort, according to all of us. Lewis Hamilton is your pick to finish second.
Yeah.
Any particular reason? Just vibes?
Vibes. The
Vibes is an acceptable
Mercedes
answer.
1-2 in the last race. I was thinking about, of my 2nd through 4, I've been between 3 drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton, Russell, Piastri, and I like the Mercedes.
Yeah, that's fair. Because you also have George Russell finishing 3rd.
Yeah.
So, big Mercedes guy over here, Andrew Hazlitt. Me and Zach, we have Lando Norris finishing 2nd, and we have Lewis Hamilton finishing 3rd.
Norris will bottle it, turn 1, lap 1 again.
No, because he's not going to be on pole.
Regardless, he'll
Find a way.
He'll find a way to bottle it somewhere.
So, Lando nor if. That pains me to say.
I know. I'm patting him on the back in consolation.
Yeah. Corey Haim is your pick for the truck series. Haim time. I like Christian Eckes. So does Zach. And then
Ty Majeski, who won the last 2 short track races, by the way. If he wins, we all look like idiots.
Yeah.
Accepts fate.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what that was. Moving on to the Xfinity race at Daytona. Me and Andrew, well, maybe we are not being smart by not picking Ty Majeski. We are choosing to be smart for picking Austin Hill.
He's the quote-unquote super speedway merchant by some people on the internet.
This is his track, though.
Yeah.
So, Daytona, Austin Hill,
it's the Austin, and maybe called the Wawa 250 powered by Coca-Cola. It's really the Austin Hill Invitational round 4.
Yeah. So,
actually 5.
Sheldon Creed is Zach's pick. Do you know why he picked Sheldon Creed?
I don't know, but Creed last week, I think, broke most all-time seconds without a win in Xfinity, with 11, passing Dale Jarrett and Daniel Hemrick.
There you go. Fun fact. Unless you're Sheldon Creed, then it's a sad fact. Brad Keselowski, also known as Keselowski to some people around these parts. You're picking him to win the Cup Series race. In your own words, he used to be good at the bumping tracks, but now he's mid.
Yeah, I feel like, he's an aggressive pusher, and he's going to get pushed for once.
Okay. I'm taking Christopher Bell, who... He hasn't won Daytona, has he?
Or Talladega.
No.
I think he might have won in an Atlanta race.
But he's gotten good results at Daytona before. I think it's a matter of time before he wins on one of those super speedway tracks. Unless he already did win at Atlanta. Like you said, he might have. Then he's already done it.
Atlanta isn't a real super speedway.
Yeah. So, let me put it this way. It's a matter of time before he wins at Daytona or Talladega, in my opinion. And then, finally, Martin Truex Jr. is the pick for Zach. So
never won on a super speedway.
No. So, wrapping this up really quickly. You're sitting at 256. I'm sitting at 275. Guests are sitting at 205. Any final words?
I'm coming.
I'm hungry. Bye.
Bye.
To me, it looked like he actually lost the wheel.
The wheel for Ross Chastain is still and perfect.
Wheel on the track.
Could you leave the wheel loose?
You picked the fine time to leave me loose, wheel.